So for tonight's class, we are going with the next week of Sefirah Eimer, and this is the third week of Sefirah Eimer. We're doing the week of Tiferet. Okay, Tiferet is the third midah, the third sefirah of the holy sefirahs of Hashem. And so this is an opportunity to delve into what is the essence of Tiferet and how is this relevant to us. Okay, so first I want to speak about, in general, what is this energy of Tiferet as a sefirah, and then afterwards we'll try to figure out how this is relevant to our lives. The truth is that the word Tiferet it's a name. Like my daughter is named Tiferet, and the reason why it's a name is because it means beauty. It means splendor. It's used a pe'er. It's a compliment to something that you're a Tiferet. It's a lot of it's a school's, it's a common school's name. Like this is a Tiferes Moshe and Tiferes Sarah and Tiferes Menachem, and there's because it's a beautiful word. It's a beautiful word, and it symbolizes beauty in the world. And so Kabbalistically, so Tiferet is connected to balance. Okay, and this is how it gets into the Sefirah Eimer, because the first week of Sefirah Eimer was Chesed. The first midah is Chesed, which is about expansion, which is about saying yes, which is about sharing, and the second midah is what we did last week, is Gevurah, which is the opposite, which is constraining, and which is being able to say no, and being able to give gevulot, to have boundaries. That's Gevurah. And these are two opposite forces in reality, that sometimes you need to be able to say yes, sometimes you need to be able to say no. Some people are more connected to Chesed, some people are more connected to Gevurah, some people are just like very, very chill and everything is always yes, and some people, everything is always no. and it's two different kinds of people. And then we come to the third week. The third week is that there's this energy in the world of Tiferet, which is the balance between, the harmony between the Chesed and the Gevurah. Okay, and that's really what Tiferet represents. So what does it mean? What does it mean to merge between the Chesed and the Gevurah? It means that to know when to say yes and when to say no. To understand that life is complicated. To understand that if you're just going to be a yes person, then you're going to be off. If you're just going to be a no person, then you're going to be off. And the real completion is to be able to merge between these two, and to be able to have both, to be able to know when to say yes and to know when to say no. Okay, this is really what Tiferet is all about. And why is this connected to beauty? Because really this is what beauty is all about. Beauty is all about balance. In one sense, so symmetry is considered beautiful if something is asymmetrical. So then it looks off to us. It's less beautiful because it's not symmetrical. Beauty needs to be proportionate. Okay? Everything in order to be beauty, everything there's actually a formula. I don't know what it is. Like a formula of the most beautiful face has this certain formula of how exactly the eyes are supposed to be and exactly the nose is supposed to be, and that there's a certain formula to what is considered the most proportionate way that everything is supposed to be. And like we understand on a very simple level, like a person could have a very beautiful nose, but if it's 2/3 of their face, so then that's very non-beautiful. It's very unbeautiful. Okay, there's a certain proportion that needs to be that it's like there's not even one black dot. You know, so it's so straight. It's just everywhere. So if there's no proportion, then it's very unbeautiful. And similarly, that there's a certain harmony that beauty requires, and meaning that there's a certain kind of colors that harmonize with each other. There's certain kind of colors that clash. Okay, there's certain kind of tones that harmonize with each other. Certain tones that clash, and there's flavors that work together. There's flavors that clash. You can have two amazing flavors. It's just together. They're just really, really gross. You know, just like I love my steak and I love my peanut butter, but it just doesn't go. and so there's a certain harmony in reality that requires beauty, And so this balance of the different energies, so this is what brings us beauty. So this is why Tiferet is Kabbalistically talked about as the balance between these two. Now, more specifically, so Kabbalistically, we've said last week that Chesed is symbolized by the right hand, and Gevura is symbolized by the left hand. Okay, so these are these two energies that we have. The right hand is about saying yes. The left hand is saying no. That I don't remember if I told you that actually this is the story behind Jesus. That Rebbe Nachman Prachia, so he was Jesus' rabbi, and he was very strict. He was very strict with his students. So Jesus was a troublemaker, and he didn't really he questioned what the rabbi said, and so Rebbe Nachman Prachia was very strict on him, and he said, go to the corner. No, he didn't say go to the corner. He probably beat him up. And it was a different culture, no judgment here. and so of course, so he went off the derech, and he started a new religion. And so Shimon Paracha felt bad. And he felt bad. He felt bad about what he did. And he taught from that lesson, from that life experience, he taught that li'olam yemin miskareves v'smal decha. That he said that this is why your right hand, which is the strong hand, should be kiruv, should be with bringing close, which is chesed, and your left hand, which is about saying no, about being strict. So that should be with your weaker hand. Okay, there should be a hierarchy. That first of all I say yes. Only after I say yes do I say no. And that's actually the way it works. That the dominant hand in healthy people. I don't mean nothing. I myself am a lefty. I don't mean this in a derogatory way. But there's the way that it was meant to be, so to speak, is that your right hand is your stronger hand. Right? It's considered a deficiency in some way. That a Kohen who's a lefty is not allowed to serve in the Beis Hamikdash, because it's like there's something off about you. Like, so I think I don't know if this is really the logic behind it, but like if your strong hand is your left hand, that means that your strong hand is about saying no, and that's wrong. Your strong hand should be about saying yes. That's the way that people were supposed to be, were meant to be, is that your strong hand is about saying yes, not about saying no. So if you're a lefty, then that's something. So this is the beauty. This is the beauty of balance. So, and the right and the left. And then where is Tiferet? Tiferet is symbolized by the middle. Okay, this is by the torso. This is by the middle of the body, so to speak. They're like in Kabbalah. So sometimes they use about parts of the body. Like when we talk about the right hand, we don't mean that Hashem has a right hand. We don't. It's just ways of talking about these things. Like that through the way that we can understand our own body, we can understand what these sefirah represent. So Tiferet is represented by the middle. Okay, so the middle of the body. So this is where the balance is. This is where you have your right, you have your left, you have your center. So being centered is about Tiferet. And so the essence of balance is being in the middle. And this is the Tiferet. This is the torso. This is the centered. This is where the source of our beauty is. So now there's another aspect of Tiferet. Just like this is all before it's relevant to our lives. We're just trying to understand the concept, the idea in the world, the energy in the world of Tiferet that we're trying to connect to. So the energy, so far we've learned that it's about balance and it's about beauty. And now Kabbalistically it says that this is also connected to a third trait, and that is emet. Emet is truth. Okay, so how does this work together? So it starts with a very simple idea, and that is that just like we have these sefirot of Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet, so these are corresponding to the three avot, to the three forefathers, to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. So Avraham is all about Chesed, because he was all about having guests, and he was all sharing all his food and sharing his emunah, and he was everything was expansion. And Gevurah is Yitzchak. Yitzchak is that very constrained. He's tied up and the binding of Isaac, and that's how he represents. He's pachat. He's always scared that he's going to do something wrong. And then you have Yaakov. Yaakov is both together. Yaakov is he has all the good stuff from Abraham and all the good stuff from Yitzchak, and he merges them together into this new midah. And because he has this merging of both, that's why. So he has something that his father and his grandfather did not have, and that is that Abraham. So because he had Chesed, and Chesed is a little bit imbalanced, so that's why he had Ishmael. The Ishmael is off. Like he takes the Chesed and he perverts it. And Yitzchak, because he had Gevurah, which is imbalanced, so he had Esav. Esav is about Gevurah. It's a might which is perverted. And then Yaakov, because Yaakov is about balance, so that every single one of Yaakov's children was a tzaddik. That's why the Klal Yisrael comes from Yaakov. That like there is no waste, there is no mutations from Yaakov. That when you have balance, so then everything is nice, everything is beautiful. And that's the 12 Shvatim are, every single one of them is beautiful. So it says about Yaakov, that Yaakov is connected to the trait of Emet. Okay, there's a pasuk we say, Titen Emet li Yaakov Chesed li Avram. Okay, so Yaakov is connected to Emet. So this is a surprising thing, because if I would have thought which of all the traits, which is Emet the closest to, so I would have thought it's about Gevurah. I would have thought it's about being very precise. And Gevurah is about having boundaries, and don't go out of bounds. And this is the rules, and you can't break the rules. And that's what Gevurah is all about. That's what Dinim is all about, judgment, and so truth. The truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. And it's very, very precise, the truth. If 99% true is 100% false. Like there's no room for leniencies. There's no room for I told you the basic gist of the truth. That doesn't. So how come when we talk about truth, why should it be that Emet is connected to Tiferet? Why shouldn't it be connected to Gevurah? So this is something very deep, and this is something that we have to understand about what really truth is. That we aspire to be people who search for truth, right? We're looking for truth. That as growth-oriented Jews, we're trying to seek truth. And so what is truth? What is truth? So Emet is a very interesting word. The Gemara says in Shabbos, that Emet is made of 3 letters, Aleph Mem Tav. So what's special about Aleph Mem Tav? Anybody know?
It's the first letter of the Aleph base, the last letter of Aleph base.
Oh, and in the middle.
And the middle. Okay, Aleph Mem Tav is the first letter, the middle letter, the last letter. Excellent. So what does that say? What does that say about the Emet? If Emet is about balance. So the beginning, the middle, and the end is that we want to take from all the different parts. And it's not about being in one specific truth. That we need to have the bird's eye view on reality. That's really what Emet is. And if you think about it, that's really what the real truth requires, having different perspectives. Okay? And that a person could do everything by the books, could do everything by the rules, and be very, very off in terms of how he's connecting to reality, because you only see things from a very myopic place. And it's true that that's what it says, but you don't understand that the situation is actually very complicated. And if you don't look at the big picture, then you're going to misunderstand. Okay, it could say that you read in the Torah that such and such a person needs to be stoned, and you need more context. Take a step back. And he's sure that he's such a tzaddik. He's sure that Hashem is so proud of him that he's been collecting his stones, and he's been waiting to throw it at his favorite sinner, and the truth is whoa, no, you don't get it. You don't get it. You need the bird's eye view. You need to understand what Hashem really means. You have to understand what it means to have a bezin. You have to understand what it means to have a mazid. All the different elements of seeing the bigger picture. And part of seeing the bigger picture is also seeing about the intention, about like you don't understand him. You don't understand this. This is not called a sitter. This is called a person who is traumatized. This is called a person who is like having a really hard day. But like if you would know what he's been going through, then like you would be so proud of him that he's only doing this and not doing 10 times worse. And so that having a better perspective is really part of emet. Like that's the true emet. The true emet is seeing the whole picture from the beginning to the end, not just like starting in the middle and saying, "Hey, I don't like that," and that to see the entire picture. That is truly emet, and that's what Tiferet is. That's what Tiferet is. To understand that like the rules are nice, but sometimes they can be misinterpreted. Sometimes they can be misapplied. Sometimes, like if you're not going to see the whole picture, then you're going to pick the wrong rule in the wrong situation. And that's precisely the fallacy of Gevurah. That's the fallacy of being a person who is small-minded, as we spoke about last week. That a person who's small-minded is he only sees the myopic. That because he's so obsessed with the trees, he doesn't see the forest. Okay? And this is what's lacking in Gevurah. The Tiferet perfects. This is the beauty that Tiferet brings to the picture. And once you see the whole context, once you see a bigger picture, then you're actually capable of bringing out a beautiful Torah. And this is really what it means when it says that Torah is emet. So Torah being emet is the same reason why Torah is beautiful. You know, there's a quote. I don't know how he knew this. I don't know how he knew this, but there's this English poet named John Keats, lived in the 1800s, and so he has a famous line that beauty is truth, and truth is beauty. That is all there is to know. That's his quote. So I heard this years ago, and so what does it mean? What does it mean? Beauty is truth, and truth is beauty. So that he's saying that Tiferet is beauty, and Tiferet is emet, and emet is Tiferet. And that's all you need to know. Right? Because if you have the Tiferet, so then you understand what Chassid is, you understand what Gevurah is. Okay, he was missing the other midas, but okay, well, we'll let him go. He wasn't such a Kabbalist. and so, but what does it mean? The truth is beauty, and beauty is truth. That if it's so, let's think about it. That first of all, what does it mean that the beauty is truth? Like that something which is actually beautiful. So that itself proves that it's real. Okay? Meaning that something which is truly, truly amazing. So it can't be that something which is truly, truly amazing is false. It can if something really, really works, so then it can't be that it wasn't supposed to be. Okay? So if something is like that, this is really the now to give you an example, we say by Torah that the ways of Torah are ways of pleasantness. So if a person is going to come to an understanding of Torah, and his understanding of Torah is that something which is very ugly, okay? That he understands that it says that you need to, like, let's say, I mean, we talk about the example we said before. We need to hate a sinner. We need to humiliate a sinner. We have to, let's say, we need to kill somebody. We need to, but even besides that, let's say that it's clear from a certain situation that somebody is just abusing the laws. Somebody is manipulating the laws, and he's finding these loopholes to prove that he deserves more than he should really get. And like we can't find a technical loophole to prove him wrong, but it's clear to us that he's just playing with the system, and so he's trying to get money from somebody that he doesn't really deserve, and there's just something just very off about that. It's clear to me that he's a conniver, and he's just trying to squeeze money out of this poor person, and me as the judge. So like I can't call him out on anything. I have a gut feeling that he's a liar, right? So what does this mean? That like the truth, if you go by the rules, says that I need to give the money, right? But if I know deep down that this is an ugly halacha, so then I know that what I'm saying is not truth. That I know that it must be that there's some halacha that I'm overlooking, because it cannot be that a beautiful, true Torah would tell me to do something which is actually disgusting. Okay, and this is why I tell people that in any way that any time that we find a discrepancy between what is beautiful to us and what is Torah, so it means one of two things. It means either that you misunderstood Torah, that look deeper, like figure it out, like think about it again, and maybe you missed some kind of commentary and you didn't realize what you were supposed to be reading, and really the reason why you think it's so ugly is because you don't know what Torah is really saying. Okay, and a person that's gonna think that he needs to fast for 5 days because there's no non-gebrachts, and like a person is gonna think that he is that he has to like be I don't know, like he thinks that if he goes outside, he's going to turn on some kind of electric light on Shabbos, so he needs to stay in the bathroom for 25 hours, and you can misunderstand halacha because based on your misunderstanding of halacha. So then, yes, the Torah sucks. But if you would have asked a rabbi, then you would have understood that it's like you can calm down. Like it's like Hashem gets it. Like the absolute truth gets it. So it's really everything is actually okay. So that's what it means, that real truth is actually beautiful, and real beauty is actually true. And this is really what it means, that the balance in everything is truly what Tiferet is all about. Okay, so that's the energy of Tiferet in the big world. However, what we learn in Kabbalah is that we have inside of our soul, we have these sefirot as well. So where does this balance come in terms of our soul? So there's a pasuk that says that the Hashem says Yisrael asher b'cha et pa'ar. So in that sense, so pa'ar, Tiferet, means that Hashem says that he glorifies himself through us. And there's something about Tiferet which is about feeling glory, feeling dignified, feeling awesome. And that feeling of Tiferet, this is what Hashem, this Hashem's sefirah of Hashem's midah of Tiferet is this feeling of awesomeness. So if that's true, so that means that through us, we're supposed to, if we have this part of our soul, which is Tiferet, that means we're also supposed to have this element of feeling awesome. And so what's Tiferet all about? So Tiferet is that a person should feel his beauty. Okay? And we said beauty is truth. What does it mean? What does it mean to be true? What does it mean to be true? So there's a very interesting thing that how do you say true in Hebrew? No, I mean that emet is a more technical thing. But if I say correct, something which is correct is we say nachon. So the word for correct is nachon, and the word nachon comes from ken. Right? Ken means yes. Right? So a person who feels a sense of self, he feels that he is ken, that he exists. I'm a ken. If I feel like a nothing, then I feel like a low. I'm not. I'm like I don't exist. I'm not nachon because I'm a lo'on. I have negative existence. So feeling a sense of self is about feeling that I exist, feeling present. Okay, now that's really what it means, and that's why what's interesting about Tiferet is that we said before that symbolically, so it's symbolized by the middle of the body, by the torso, and so what's unique about human beings is that we stand up, right? So it's through our torso that we stand upright. Our standing upright is specifically the place where the Tiferet is being hinted to. So in other words, part of Tiferet is to be able to stand up, to be able to feel like I have presence, like a person as opposed to a person who's like feeling like kneeled over, crunched over, and like I feel like a nothing. I feel like I don't. A person who feels self-esteem, so he stands tall, stands tall. chin up. and so like was like a couple of weeks ago I was talking about like power positions and like I like how like yeah. And so a person that feels present, so that's you show it in your torso. Okay? You show it in your chazah, which is what Tiferet is all about. So part of Tiferet is about expressing the fact that I feel present. So then the obvious question is that how do we reconcile between feeling present, feeling self-esteem, and feeling self-worth, and how do we make sure that this doesn't turn to a dangerous place of arrogance and self-centeredness? And that is that. Now that we bring Tiferet into the soul, so now it becomes dangerous. Now, like beauty is not a problem as long as it's outside of us. But if we're going to feel this beauty inside of us, if we're going to walk around thinking that mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? So if I'm thinking that I'm the most beautiful, so like I am God's gift to reality, so then there's something is going to be, nobody's going to want to be my friend. There's something very, very off, something egocentric, something unpleasant and un-Toradic and unholy and unspiritual about that place. And that can't be what Tiferet is all about. So how do we reconcile between these two things? So I want to share with you two different ideas, and they're both true, and I think they both complement each other, and so the first thing that I think we need to differentiate between a healthy feeling of worth and an unholy feeling of worth is that what is the source of my worth? So in other words, specifically, that is my value essential, or is my value dependent on my achievements? Okay, so let me explain. That if you ever listen to Jordan Peterson, so he likes to say, if you want to feel self-esteem, so do something esteemable. That if you, it's very simple. If you want he doesn't believe that you should just feel good about yourself just because. And he says that if you want self-esteem, so then you should do something with your life. That if you come to me and you say, Rabbi, I feel like a piece of garbage, and so I should say, well, tell me about your day. So you'll say, well, I pretty much stay in bed all day. So I say, well, you're absolutely right. You are a piece of garbage. So that's what Jordan Peterson would say. He'd probably advise you not to stay in bed all day. Like right now you're a piece of garbage. But you can always, tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow you cannot be a piece of garbage. And so, but he believes that objectively a person's value is dependent on their achievements. Okay? And so why is this very dangerous? Because if my value is based on my achievements, so then if I achieve, and I look at my neighbor that achieves less than me, or doesn't achieve at all, so then I can say, haha, you are a piece of garbage. I was there once, I know what it's like. But bottom line, today I'm not a piece of garbage. And you are a piece of garbage. And so that there's a certain hierarchy that once you give value based on achievement, then it's very clear that if I look at myself and I'm very proud of myself because of my achievements, so I give myself value because of my achievements, and then I look at people around me that have less achievements than me, so then I absolutely think that they are less than me and they're less valuable than me. And if I think that they're less valuable than me, so then it would make sense for me to treat them with less respect. Even if I'm not going to treat them like with no respect, but ultimately, like, I should go first. How could it be that I have to wait in line behind this piece of garbage? Right? I should excuse me, Mister. You're ahead of me in line, and you're a piece of garbage. Like, I should be able to go in front of you, and the same. You got it. And the same is true in any element of life. That I'm naturally going to be looking down at people. I'm going to be judgmental, and I'm going to be condescending to people that I know that they actually, like, what can I do? It's a fact. It's a fact that they're worth less than me. And so, like, how could their rights come before? So this is a whole school of thought. This is the value based on achievement school of thought. So Rebbe Nachman teaches the opposite. Rebbe Nachman teaches that your value is not because of your achievements, and he says, and he brought down in Sichos Haran that there was a student of his that came, and he says, Rabbi, like, I'm depressed, and he said, come on, you can't be that bad. You can't be try to think of something that you once did that was good. And he said, Rabbi, I can't think of anything good. So he said, you're sure? He said, yeah, they're trying for 10 minutes and they can't think of any good redeeming value. And so he says, you know what? I think that you should jump for joy just because you're a Jew. That the mere fact that you're a Jew, that itself is a reason that you should just be so ecstatic. Okay? It doesn't matter if you didn't do any good thing in your entire life. The mere fact that you have a soul, the mere fact that Hashem loves you, the mere fact that you're part of the chosen nation, so you can just like be dancing for joy just because you're a Jew. This is the secret of the Nanach. And so, like, they're like, you tell you, like, you see these druggies that they're collecting money and giving out stickers, and it's like, what are you so happy about? So I'm just happy because I'm a Jew. Okay, so and so there's something very true about this. Something very true about this, and this is that I don't need to do anything to deserve dignity. That we are born with dignity. We're born with value, and there's nothing that I can do that can take that away. There's nothing that I can do that make that evaporate. There's something called human dignity, which is essential, which is inborn, which is our birthright. That it doesn't matter what I do. I could do everything wrong, and I still deserve basic human dignity. You know, there's a very interesting thing that the Torah, when it talks about human dignity, so one of the sources of Kabbalah, of human dignity, is talking about the corpse of a human being. It says that when a person is put to death by hanging, so it says you can't leave their corpse to be hanging overnight. You need to make sure that they go away. Why? Kikilas Elokim Taloi, because it's a curse to God to have him in such a state of dignity, because every human being is B'Tselem Elokim. Every human being is in God's image. So for have a disgrace of a human being is a disgrace of God. That's what the Torah says. That's what the pasuk says. Now it's very interesting that of all places to tell us about the dignity of human beings, so who does the Torah choose to teach us about dignity of human beings? It talks about a person who was so bad that he deserved to be killed. A person who was so evil that he deserved capital punishment. And that sinner that the Torah says, yeah, absolutely, hang him, that's the person that the Torah says that you have to be so careful not to humiliate him. You have to be so careful not to take away from his human dignity. Okay, it's mind-boggling. Okay, this is the person that is so bad that he doesn't deserve to live. He's the same person that deserves awesome respect. Okay, because our respect is not about how we live our lives. It's not about our achievements. It's simply about what we are and who we are. And it's God-given. So this is the first difference. The difference between healthy ego, healthy self-esteem, healthy worth, and versus an unhealthy Tiferet, an unhealthy kinds of egoism, of arrogance, which is more than. So if my worth is because of, the reason why I think that I have worth is because of something I did, so then it's going to be normal for me to look down on other people, which is very ugly, which is not beautiful. And the truth is that the source of my value, the source of my worth, is actually essential. It's actually because of what I am. Just simply because of what I am, irrelevant. Now, it's true that I'm allowed to be proud of myself. I'm allowed to be proud of myself about my achievements as well. But it's not my achievements that give me my value. Okay? And it's not a contradiction. I can be proud of myself when I make the right decisions without thinking that when I make the wrong decisions, I lose my value. Okay? They're two completely different things. That I can be proud of the fact that I made a good decision. I feel that I feel accomplished, And that is not what gives me value. Right? It's two different feelings, two different experiences. It's two different ways of looking at the experience. That I can be proud of myself and feel no value. A person can have no self-worth, can be losing any self-esteem. And this is an important thing to point out. There's people that are addicted to accomplishments. They're addicted to success. So where does that come from? This is precisely the problem. That the only thing that they have value when they succeed. Sometimes, like, you have parents that they give their children the feeling that I love you if you succeed. I love you if you're good. So they equate value with achievement. So I'm proud of myself when I achieve. But the problem is that where my value comes from. So a healthy sense of self-worth is that my self-worth, my value, is nothing to do with my achievement. If I have a sense of self-worth essentially, so then that's not what I need that's not what I get from my achievements. So I'm not obsessed with achievements. I don't need the achievement to feel good. It's a nice feeling of achievement, but it's not value. My value is essential. My value will never go away. Okay. So this is the first difference. The first difference between a healthy sense of value, self-esteem, versus an unhealthy sense of ego, arrogance, etc. And the second is something which is a little bit deeper, and that is that even if I look about my achievements as something which is giving me value, but it doesn't have to make me look differently at anybody else, and that is for the following reason: that this is something Rebbe Nachman talks about in Likutei Moharan, in Torah Vav. It's a rather famous Torah that Rebbe Nachman he differentiates between two kinds of kavod, two kinds of honor. One of them is what he calls kavod malachim. Kavod malachim is the honor of kings, and the other one is kavod elokim, is the honor of God. So he says some people are looking for honor of kings. What does it mean, honor of kings? Honor of kings is that a king feels that you need to serve me because of my honor, right? And so a person that's looking for that feeling of honor of kings, so he thinks that the honor is his. Whereas if a person realizes that the honor is actually not his own, but the honor is Hashem's honor, so then there's nothing. I don't own my honor. So the difference is that a healthy sense of worth is that this feeling of worth was entrusted to me. That I'm carrying worth, but I don't own the worth. I don't own my value. I am valuable, but I don't own that value. Okay, it's a subtle difference, but it's worlds. It's light years apart. So I think there's a very simple way of looking at this. That, like we said before, that Tiferet is the literal translation of Tiferet is about beauty, right? So let's start with something very simple. You have a friend who owns, I don't know, what's a famous designer store. Designer, like the designer for dresses. Like something that every dress costs $50,000.
Louis Vuitton.
What?
Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton. Okay, so you happen to be second cousins with Louis Vuitton. Okay, and so for your birthday, so Louis, he tells you, like, my present for you this year is that you can go around with one of my famous dresses. Okay, and he also has fancy jewelry, right? Does he? Yeah, he has fancy jewelry. Everything. Your clothes are worth $5 million. Okay, and so you're walking around, and you're feeling very beautiful, right? Yeah. And so, but with the feeling of you, do you feel that you own this beauty? Do you feel that, like, people deserve to give you something because you're so beautiful? Of course not, because you know it's not yours, right? But that's not a contradiction to the fact that you feel good about how you look, right? because you know that you're just carrying this beauty, so you feel good about the beauty, you feel beautiful, but yet you don't feel like you own the beauty. I think it's a very, very clear way of looking at this difference. And so it's the same thing. Like if you think about it, it's the very same thing with natural beauty. If a person that has natural beauty so walks around the world, and if to feel beautiful is perfect. Every human being should feel beautiful. But if you think I own my beauty, so that's already a problem. If a person thinks this is mine, this beauty is mine, this is something which I own it, so then that's going to be a problem. And really on a deeper level, it's not just problematic, it's not just like immoral, it's also not true. Because the truth is that it's Hashem's beauty. That like you didn't do anything to deserve this beauty. This is that Hashem allowed you, and even if the reason why you look the way you look is because you're in the gym 10 hours a day, like I promise you, it's also siyata dishmaya. It's also there's plenty of people that try just as hard as you, and it doesn't work. And there's people that even despite how much they want to go, but they can't get their way to the gym. There's people that they can't afford to go to the gym. They can't. There different makeups. There's clothing. There's a million reasons that it's ultimately you're carrying the beauty. You don't own the beauty. It's something that's it's bestowed upon you, and it's not actually yours. Okay, so this is an alternative way to look at all elements of value. That to understand that I have amazing value, and my achievements are also value, but I don't own this value. Okay. Now this is what Chazal tell us that im lamata Torah harbe, that if you learned a lot of Torah, they're speaking about accomplishment. This is an accomplishment. Like what's the biggest accomplishment? Is to learn Torah, is to become a wise man. So if you learn Torah, harbe al tachzik tova la'atzmecha. Don't think you're so special. Why? Ki lekach notzarta. Because that's what you were created for. That's what you're a worker. You're just doing my job, man. You're just doing your job. You're just doing what you're supposed to do. You don't get a round of applause for doing what you're supposed to do. So even your achievements, so the reason why you're doing them is because that you were put into this world to do this. So like how can you think that you own your value? You're put here, you were given your skills, you were given your talents, you were given your willpower, you were everything that you have, everything that you're showing up with, you were given. So it's not actually yours. So we're all in this together. And this is really, it really circles back to what Emet is all about. That this is really the secret to not allowing our self-worth to cause us to be condescending to others is to remember what Emet is all about. Emet is that the beginning, the middle, and the end is to have a bird's eye view on reality. To realize that it's like if I look very small-minded, so then I see that, whoa, I accomplished X, Y, Z, and you didn't, and I'm so awesome. But if you look at the bigger perspective, so then you realize that, whoa, like Hashem created the world in 6 days, and He gave us the Torah, and He gave us a mission, and you have your mission, and He has His mission, and she has their mission, and everybody is working together, and that we're like everybody together. So we're somehow going to bring Mashiach, and like. Who do you think you are? That you think it's all about you? Like you're just a pawn. You're just a pawn. You're just an eved. You're just carrying your value. The value is bestowed. You don't own anything. You're not a player here. You're not a player here. You're just a puppet, and like you're playing your part. You better do your part well. But there's no room to feel egotistic. There's no room to feel the condescending on somebody else because literally we're all in this together. So this is the beauty. This is the beauty of life, and this is the beauty of Tiferet. And so I believe that when we look at our value, when we look at our talents, when we look at our accomplishments from this bird's eye view of truth, so then it's a very healthy way, and a person should always remember that I have value, and I have amazing value, I have infinite value, and that value is given to me from Hashem. That value is given to me because Hashem decided to create me. He decided that I have value, even if I don't see it, but apparently He saw something that I don't see. And a person should always remind themselves that if you think that you are pointless, if you think that there's no reason why for you to be here, so obviously you're disagreeing with God, and God is smarter than you. So maybe think about it again, because Hashem thinks that you do have value. Hashem thinks that you do have something to contribute to the world. And so looking from things from a truthful perspective really gives me a feeling of beauty, which is a feeling of worth. Okay, so B'ezrat Hashem, we should be able to connect to the sefirah from this week and really to rectify it and bring it out in the most beautiful way. L'chaim.